to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids. We're going to have a fun Monday afternoon. D'Anthony, we got an old pal on the show, Jack Osbourne.
Yeah.
Going to be talking about ghosts today.
A ghost and being a dad, because he's a dad again.
Yeah, congratulations on becoming a father again, Jack.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is baby number 4. You know, I'm trying to, I'm coming for Elon Musk's title.
Well, look, you only have, 6 more to go, and I think you guys will be caught up. I want to talk about an interesting press story regarding your baby, if you don't mind, real quick here.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Okay, according to the New York Post on page 6, you guys preserved the umbilical cord for a painting?
Yeah. Well, okay, so my my fiance, she had the placenta turned into like capsules that you then take after, which is, some people used to eat placentas or like drink it in a smoothie. So they turn it into like these capsules that you take. And then the company that does it makes like a painting of your placenta.
Mm.
No way. So where does said painting then hang? In the baby's room or in your living room?
It's TBD. It's currently in the baby room. We just haven't hung it yet. And you want to hear something crazy about it?
Yeah.
So hospitals don't like letting you leave with your own placenta. I guess they sell it or they do research with it. So there's like a weird thing about it. But we had to collect it to then give it to this company to then turn it into capsules. So my fiance just, gave birth to our baby girl, and they put it in like a quart soup container. Like, when you go to the deli and you're like, yeah, give me a quart of like matzo ball soup, and they put it in that plastic. But I needed to transfer it to like the actual proper cooler ice package thing for them to ship it to the place. Well, they would put it in that. And so while my fiance's in the recovery room with our baby, I'm like in the corner when there's nurses in there, like transferring the placenta from like one receptacle to another. And I'm like looking over my shoulder because they would have freaked out.
Did you use like chopsticks or anything, or how'd you do it?
Yeah, how'd you pick that up?
It's got like a Jell-O consistency. So kind of like.
See, I was thinking maybe there was a potential for some slapstick comedy where you keep trying to, it's like Family Guy where you keep trying to pick it up and it falls off every single time, like that frog that he's trying to scoop up out of the window.
Yeah.
I was just so happy he didn't fall on the floor.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Jack. So I just had a child 2 months ago, and they asked me the same thing. Thank you, buddy. But they asked me the same thing. Hey, do you guys want to keep the placenta? And I said, no, I don't really have any use for it. And so did my wife. And we were like, no. And the guy gave me a look like, you're lost.
Well, you're in Austin, so you should expect that, to be honest, right? It's like the appropriate response is to be like, no, we've got placenta at home.
We've got plenty.
We've got extra. Yeah, no, we're good.
We've got plenty. So what do the pills do for you? Because I know you put them in a capsule.
Well, for me, they don't do anything. But for my, I guess what the thought is that you slowly taper off all the pregnancy hormones, so it makes it easier to deal with like postpartum issues. So I guess, my chick's doing great. So, yeah.
Well, what we found out recently is that SSRIs do absolutely nothing for you.
Yeah.
So
this is true.
Yeah. So at least this anecdotally still works.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Bob, what did you do with the placenta? Did you guys keep it? One of our producers just had a child, too.
We did the pills, and I had to do the exact same thing.
No shit.
Jack, I had to do the exact same thing. Transfer a placenta from, like, this big tub into, like, a literal cooler I got at Walmart to give to the fucking people to make into pills. And it's heavier than you think. It's awkward. It's not made to be moved from one plastic container to another. It sucked. And then it's for postpartum depression and shit. So she took them for a while. And
did it work, or is she still being a bitch?
Yeah,
she strangled our baby days later.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but the baby was asking for it. The baby came out super racist, so it wasn't like it wasn't just her fault. Is what I'll say.
Where are you today? It looks like you're in an Airstream trailer somewhere. I know you're always traveling for your shows. Where are you?
So I'm actually on the way up to my ranch, and I'm driving my Airstream up to leave it up there because we're like renovating it. So So I'm in a parking lot of Chick-fil-A somewhere in Northern California.
Well, no free ads, bro. Come on.
No free ads. They're not a sponsor here. I wish they were. Through Christ, anything is possible.
I would
obviously,
do
as long
just
as you
for
hate gay people.
like 112 pack of chicken nuggets a week. I think I would do ads for them.
Oh, easily.
I'll get those to you.
Yeah.
Let me just I'll mail them to you.
Yeah, just send me a 12-pack nug. We've got one right up the street, but the lines are super long. So if you wouldn't mind just shipping us some, that'd be great. What are you guys working on right now?
So I finished in January. I finished the last season of Portals to Hell. So that's season 3. And it just aired. And then Fright Club is midway through airing right now, or it may be done. I don't know. It might be. No, it's still airing. And then I have a special coming out that I did with Jason Mewes and Jamie Kennedy, where we went to the area around Skinwalker Ranch and had some really fucking weird experiences.
There's a doc on Netflix for Skinwalker Ranch. There's a lot of weird shit going on there.
A lot, dude.
Like I don't really buy into ghost shit very much, but they're using meters, not e-meters and shit, by the way, but like to detect radiological disturbances and shit. Stuff that you definitely shouldn't just find in the middle of that area. Right. And it's it's actually pretty prevalent there. It's kind of weird. It's almost like
and it's funny.
There was some underground nuclear testing or something, maybe. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
It is odd, and you've got like a lot of like foreign interest going on there now. Like, there's rumors that like there's people from there's the Chinese poking around, and before the war, like Russians were like popping up in town, and everyone there's weird shit for sure.
We've worked with Jason Mewes and those guys. How were they on a ghost trip like that? Because they're funny guys in real life, but I think when everybody gets thrown into that situation, most people lose their fucking minds. How do those two hold up?
Jamie and Jason, I don't think expected to experience what we did. I think because here's the thing. I can't speak for every ghost show or every paranormal show, so for me, we don't fake shit. We don't fuck around like that. And we kept telling him, like, no, like, we're going to go to a place which is supposedly pretty gnarly, and whatever happens, and we're not setting this up. We're not, we haven't got like a special effects team, like remote controlling, a fucking drone to make it look like an orb. But they were seeing things like I caught on camera we were in this area called Fantasy Canyon, and no, it is not a strip club. And
should be.
It was 2:00 in the morning, and it had been a crazy thunderstorm. And out in the distance, I was looking through my night vision monocle. I see someone running at a full sprint with no light, just booking it through the desert, miles. We're 25 miles away from the nearest town. And this person was like flying, like Usain Bolt running through this desert. And I'm like, I thought it was a member of our crew. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And everyone was like, no, that's none of us. And this, whatever it was, just went over a berm and then disappeared. We came back the next day. I tracked its footprints for like 1.5 miles. There was 2 sets of footprints at one point. It narrowed down, and then it went to 1. And then when it went over the berm, the footprints just vanished. And we can't figure out, okay, who the fuck was that? Why were they running in the middle of the desert at, 2:00 in the morning after a crazy thunderstorm? Like, it totally, everyone was freaked out by it.
It's the ghost of Forrest Gump, probably.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely the ghost of Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Or Jesus. Look, when you only see one set of footprints, dude, it was then he carried.
Yeah, but when Jesus came to the Americas, it was in Missouri.
Was it really?
Well, that's what the Mermans believe, yeah. So.
And what was those guys' reaction when this happened?
They were freaked, and Jamie Kennedy saw this crazy light orb appear out of the ground, when we were filming in this other part of, near Skinwalker Ranch, and it's a weird place. I've been there 3 times, and it never ceases to amaze me how just fucking weird it is. And and I've spoken to so many different people about what they think's going on there, or what it may be, and I don't know, man. There's just something just genuinely crazy.
Well, tell us about Fright Club. This is the first season of probably a couple because it's done pretty well ratings wise. So tell me about who's it's the Ghost Brothers and you, and there's a lot of stuff going on. You guys go to different locations, or what? Tell me about it.
So no, what we do on Fright Club, it's me and the Ghost Brothers, and we kind of find like the weirdest, kind of craziest paranormal, like caught on camera type footage, and we essentially try and like it's kind of a game of poker. It's like, all right, who's got the best video, and let's see what you got, and it's fun. Like if any, honestly, it's more like a podcast than a TV show because we just sit around and like talk shit to each other and like play videos. So
well, it actually sounds a lot like one of our history podcasts, Softcore. They take turns coming up with the topic and just it's like a recap of some historical event, but all the weird fucked up parts of it, basically.
Nice. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
I should probably listen to that.
Yeah, you would like Softcore history. Yeah,
Softcore history. Hey, we'll have you on anytime.
Just relax, asshole. Calm down. We're in the middle of a fucking show.
Bit of history.
Yeah, but it's a really good. But this sounds more like the on the edge of your seat stuff because I've been in so many gunfights at this point. Doesn't really do it for me. But that kind of stuff, I like the skeptic stuff that Michael Shermer does, where he analyzes videos and things like that and tells you why something is unexplainable, why something is explainable. I like that, and I like these kind. It's almost like a mix between that and ridiculously, right? Where it's like almost like a clip show, right?
Yeah, and we, and there are times where we call out bullshit and we're like, no, here's how that's fake, and what have you. But there's some weird. I mean, probably aside from stopping a lot of like home break-ins, Ring cameras capture a lot of weird stuff when people don't realize it.
Yeah, and most of the noises you hear, if you go back and look on the Ring, typically there's a pretty good explanation for it. With you guys...
In LA, it's like a homeless guy beating off in your bushes.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
If you're lucky.
Which is weird because I was in the bush right next to it beating off, and I didn't hear a goddamn thing.
No.
But the Ring camera picked it all up.
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
Go ahead and send that footage my way just because I need it to feel alive inside.
Yeah.
But with that, what's the craziest thing you've actually captured on camera?
And okay, so I have this whole... So I'm not one of these like diehard, like it's a ghost. Like we on Portals to Hell, where I do a lot of like that's my main kind of gig. We will 9 out of 10 times prove that it's not a fucking ghost, that it's the wind or it's an old creaky building or this, that, and the other. But there is that 10% of times where I'm like, okay, I can't figure out why this certain thing is happening. I mean, a couple months back, we were at this old Civil War museum, and it's in Virginia. Oh God, what's the name of it? It's Pamplin, the Pamplin like museum. Amazing place. If you're a Civil War buff, like it is so cool the stuff they have there. It's like the largest private Civil War museum in the country, and I mean they've got just the craziest stuff there. And they have essentially a town which was in the crossfire of one of the last largest battles of the Civil War. Whoa, that was just a fucking earthquake. Holy shit.
What state are you in? Are you in California right now?
Yeah, Northern California has earthquakes like every 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That was like a legit earthquake. Oh, wow.
How big was it? Bob, look up that earthquake real quick. If you go to Twitter, I guarantee you somebody's got that number right now.
Well, there was one earlier on Papua New Guinea that was a 5.6.
Papua New Guinea?
That was a couple of hours ago, yeah.
How bad was the shaking there right now?
I would give it a...
somewhere between a sniper and Michael J. Fox.
No, I would put this at maybe the 4s. That was maybe a 4 or 3, high 3.
No shit. All right, dude.
Wow.
I just find it weird we're talking about ghosts and then your whole trailer starts shaking. I thought for sure Betty White was going to enter stage right, and then it was like, oh shit, dude, she's back.
What? You guys don't see Betty right here next to me?
God.
No, but anyway, so we're at this fort, and I start having a conversation with a fucking flashlight to where I would answer like yes or no questions, and a flashlight would turn on and off. Now, this isn't like a remote control flashlight. It's like a shitty gas station old mag light. And I can't explain that. There's no realm of logic to where I just don't understand how you can have a conversation with a flashlight.
And how long did that go on, and did you catch it on camera?
We did catch it on camera, and it went on for about 30 minutes.
Holy shit.
And there's a member of our crew, our sound tech, and she's, Brooklyn, lives East Coast, like city girl, like totally does not believe in ghosts. And she came away from that being like, I have no idea what we were just watching, and I cannot, her mind was blown. And I've had experiences like that numerous times, but it's stuff when it just defies logic. That's when you're like, okay, well, what the fuck is this? It might not be a ghost either. Like, and that's what I always say. Like, ghost is a ghost could either be an oversimplification of what we're encountering, or a crazy, we can't wrap our head around what it is at all. So we just try and label it as something.
Right.
And, I think as we are progressing as a civilization, we're starting to realize like there's stuff out there that we still don't understand. What do they think? There's 11 dimensions now.
Yeah.
Like, what if something has the ability to blip into ours periodically?
Well, think about, so it's what Carl Sagan described the second dimension as flatland, right? So imagine that there's only two dimensions. There's no up and down. There's only left, right, back, forward. If somebody were to come, let's say this is a sheet of paper, and somebody were to come put their finger on it, it would essentially look like, from the second dimensional perspective, that a mountain just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
100%.
And then when they remove their finger, it's gone in an instant. Now, I don't know what the prevailing theory these days on cross-dimensional contamination like that would be, but I do know that new research on Sigma 8, which is it's a constant that describes how large groups of matter clump together, like our galaxies, clusters and superclusters of galaxies, the cosmic background, the cosmic backbone as well, and we figured this out with some of the new tech, looking at the cosmic microwave background, which is the energy remnants of the Big Bang, right? Mm-hmm. So the Sigma 8 and the Hubble constant don't agree with one another. As a matter of fact, they're off by about 25%, which means all the assumptions we've been making about the reality of our universe and how matter operates are completely wrong. So we don't know, even about the very basic fundamentals, we still don't know shit.
No, and looking at that footage from the Webb telescope that's coming back, it's revealing more and more and more. And I think it would be dumb to not think that there is 12 dimensions or more.
Well, it's 11. So there's string theory, which, a lot of it is still kind of, it's an untestable theory, which is a problem, but it's also, there's some stuff that I think we're kind of moving on from, but the idea that there's 10 spatial dimensions plus time seems to be accurate. So that means like there's a fourth spatial dimension, which doesn't just have left, right, back, forward, up, down. It has one more, right? And what we know think of it like a tesseract. That's what it's called. The fourth dimensional object is a tesseract. So it's a cube, like a three-dimensional cube. And then from each vertice, there's another line that comes out, and there's another shape around it. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Now, we can't see that because we live in the third dimension.
Sure.
But the math says it exists. So if something were to... The idea is that you could communicate between not just different dimensions, but also from one universe to another, provided they're close to each other using gravity, because gravity is a constant. If gravitational warping could affect something on the dimensional level, it might leak through, and you would see it, and it would be like, what the fuck is this? So, again, ghost is like it's like a catch-all. It's like saying dark matter. It doesn't actually mean anything.
100%, and that's where I'm at with it. And when I choose to say a place is haunted or whatever, it's like I'm using it as the catch-all of like there's some energy here that we just don't understand, and it is things are happening because of it.
And it's super interesting too.
Yeah, and like it's funny. I have these conversations with my dad, and he's just like, "Oh, you don't believe in all that bullshit." I'm like,
Ozzy the realist.
It's always got to bring it down to the real level. But I kind of put things in buckets because I do think a lot of hauntings. I think that it's possible that they're environmental toxicity. Mushrooms, you could inhale. What's to say that there's some kind of mushroom spore that you can inhale, and after a long period of time of inhaling it, you start fucking hallucinating and you're seeing shit coming out of the walls. You know, that's a possibility, because we often end up at these really old, decrepit, shitty buildings, and who knows what kind of mold is in the walls.
Yeah.
You know, then there's the theory that we talk about, kind of what you're talking about, Dan, is like, all right, what if there is this unknown energy spectrum which is causing us to hallucinate? People that live under power lines get headaches, they get sick, and the power company will tell you, oh, no, that's not real, it's totally safe. But long-term exposure to certain EMF frequencies will make you sick. So you know, like you just said, you know, it's haunted and ghost. It's a catch-all for me.
Sure, yeah. So the light spectrum, right, from one end all the way to the other, we see about 0.004% of that, of the entire spectrum of light. But we're affected by all of it. Like UV, for example, is what causes aging and cancer and all that shit. In a lot of ways, it's a big cause of cancer. We don't see that, but it affects us. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to imagine from the perspective. Well, one back to the Skinwalker Ranch thing. They opened up a couple of things around there, and it was like trapped methane gas that was probably like 60 years old that's been slowly leaking out over time. Like that's probably got something to do with it. But there's radiological shit there that doesn't make any sense either. But you have to imagine from the perspective of somebody, particularly somebody who isn't like well-versed in science or a skeptic, generally speaking, if one of these phenomenon happens to them, even if there's a natural world explanation for it, that's got to seem fucking crazy. Especially if it was like the 1950s or some shit, and you're fucking... We're not yet into the part of the United States history where psychedelics are really popular, or, you know, we've had all these shows like yours and other ones that either prop up or debunk some of this stuff. They're completely ignorant about it. And then you see some fucking apparition floating around. You're like, am I going fucking crazy? Like, your brain doesn't want to think it's crazy. Your brain wants there to be an explanation for that. Yeah. And if there's no scientific background, then you will create God, right? Or ghosts or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, it makes sense. We got a new ghost here, by the way, breaking news. So we've had an earthquake already in the first 20 minutes of the show. And now Olivia Newton-John has died. My God, Jack. Oh. Yeah, dude.
Oh, really?
Isn't that weird?
Man. Oh, damn.
That's 73 years old, so you might see her ghost soon. What the fuck? What a bizarre day, dude.
Oh.
What's going to happen the rest of the episode now is what I really want to know.
Is Dan's transitioning.
I am. My dick just falls off mid-show. No. But then I grow big-ass titties, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, hey, you win some, you lose some, right?
You sure do.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I want to know, Dan, what's your thought about your best friend, fucking InfoWars guy?
Alex
Jones, yeah.
Alex getting sued to Kingdom Come.
I think it's fucking stupid, to be honest. Like, I don't understand why there's financial compensation for something that didn't cost you money. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people, you didn't disabuse somebody of their ability to earn for themselves. Basically, these people are trading their feelings about their dead kids for money. That seems very weird to me, honestly. Like, like if somebody
when you frame it like that, for sure.
Yeah, that's like very bizarre. Like what he said was fucking stupid. But and by the way, the latest ruling that came out where it's like $45 million.
Correct.
Nowhere near that. He'll pay about $1.5 million of that because Texas caps that.
Oh, they do. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is that some weird state loophole?
It's
most states have a punitive cap.
Yeah, it's a tort reform from like what 25 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it's punitive. It can only be like X percentage more of whatever the what's the other settlement called? There's punitive and there's
it starts with a C.
Compensatory.
Compensatory. Yeah,
compensatory. Yeah, so it can only be a certain level.
But Texas takes it a step farther, where it's capped per person. Okay. So per person on the class action lawsuit can only get X amount, basically. Okay. So, but yeah, I think this is like you're trying to set an example, and we know how the media is. They don't like anybody that dissents in any way, which is interesting because the whole point of the fucking media is to dissent from power. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I think it's fucking stupid. This whole thing is stupid.
I'm wondering though, like, is this gonna create I mean, obviously there's precedence to this, but it's like, all right, so if a media personality now says something which I can say has really hurt, like, what about like the bullshit that every major news network spews out daily?
Yeah, exactly. But they're protected by like a news act, whereas he's not.
No, somebody broke this down really well, and there was something different about how he did it, because he didn't just say what he thought was true. He said they were lying.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I think the fact that he said they were lying about it, or they were involved in a cover-up or whatever it was, then that's what brought it to a new level where he was financially culpable. But even then, I think it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, and Jack, I read a super interesting article on it last night where people wondered what effect this would actually have by suing him and getting this money and everything else. And a lot of people seem to agree that, because he's canceled from everywhere and he's only available on Infowars.com, that this actually brought him into the mainstream. And these days, I mean, for real, and it was a super interesting article, and it was by a very left newspaper, whatever it was, I think like Vox or some bullshit like that. And but in it, they were like, we only brought him to the mainstream, whereas people were starting to forget about him and everything else. And then, much like that Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, people were taking sound bites and kind of memeing them. And then those memes would go out everywhere. We had one of them on our Instagram where they were asking him about, on your show, you've said, everybody's into child pornography and pedophilia and all this other stuff. And he's, oh, you mean like the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and the, John Anik video and the eruption of all that. Like that one clip on one day on Twitter got 5.8 million views, let alone what it got on Instagram and everywhere else. Like I think on our just personal Instagram, I think it's at 400,000 views. God knows whoever else shared this and everything else, but a lot of people just took sound bites from it. And in turn, it helped his network. And then what I found interesting was I always like to go the day after and see what happens to the person themselves once they've gone through something like this, right? Most people retreat. Take Will Smith, right? He went to fucking Saudi Arabia with the prince. They sent over the private jet and he hid away for 2 months or whatever. What did Alex do? He went on his channel and he goes, hey guys, so obviously you heard about the lawsuit and everything that's going on. I'm going to need you to buy some of my products in order for me to stay on the air. And he just starts going through all the products and I'm like, he's just selling merch, dude. I mean, just selling vitamins, supplements, and merch. And it's a
Super Vitality was sold that day.
Oh, dude! And it's a 5-minute video of him looking directly in the camera, super serious, and he's just like, "I'm gonna need you to start filling up your body with all the vitamins I got." And then I was just, so I'm not really sure what the end result is going to be for the long run, but in the short term, it certainly helped Alex gain more notoriety from it. Yeah. And if that is true, that this is capped at 1.5 or whatever it is, he certainly has it.
Even if it was 45, he certainly has it.
Certainly has it.
My guess on his net worth is probably 250 to 300 million.
Are you serious?
Yes, and that's pre-divorce. So I
who knows now? It's a good.
I think she's probably got half of it. But,
yeah, who knows? But he's like, I know just from doing research on the web. When I say that, I don't mean Twitter. I mean using web analytics tools, that his website gets about 3 million unique visitors per day.
Right.
Wow.
45 million a month.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
Good. Yeah, like there's literally, unless you assassinate him, there's no way to stop him from what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's an assassination or like $1 billion fine or something like that. But even then, you can't stop him from working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys kind of had weird beef, right?
Well, he came after. So it's so fucking stupid. Black Rifle. I want to tell this story very briefly again for people who may be new listeners, or if you're one of those cunts out there that still thinks you're making a point with this. Not even a New York Times employee, but some fucking offshoot turd like freelancer who happened to work for New York Times. Black Rifle is doing this annual. It's an archery event, Total Archery or some shit like that, for disabled veterans. And the guy calls them and be like, hey, can I come cover the event? And they're like, yeah, of course. We want as much press on this as possible. So he comes, and then he starts asking a bunch of stupid, like they're just sitting around shooting the shit, and he starts trying to get, like he asked Evan, what do you think about Rittenhouse? And he says, blah, blah, blah. I don't, we didn't pay him any money to wear our T-shirt because we're not trying to profit off the deaths of Americans. And then the next 20 minutes later, he asked him about a lot of people have associated, you know, your brand with racist people wear your shit. And Evan says, I don't want racist people wearing my shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, he writes that in back-to-back paragraphs as if it's Evan calling Kyle Rittenhouse, who, by the way, killed 3 white people, or 2 white people, as a racist. And then Alex Jones, you know, did what he did, which is drink a quart of fucking vodka in the morning and yelled about how Evan and some of our other friends are fucking traitors and unpatriotic and shit. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. So I called him a cunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've since made up. He says dumb shit sometimes, and I say dumb shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like Alex. I think if you just put all the predictions or things that were conspiracies he's made since like 2000, well, let's say 96 actually, because that's really when he got started.
Okay.
Until today. And it basically just looks like the retraction page from any major newspaper. Right. Where they've had to go back and apologize for saying stupid shit. Yeah. Because he's like been right time after fucking time again.
Yeah, and I'm one of them, Jack, by the way. And I issued an apology to him on air for I did not believe the Pizzagate thing, the Lolita Express and all that stuff. Like, I didn't believe it. And I think we were doing his show or vice versa or whatever. And I was like, look, I'm willing to entertain a lot of shit. This is one that I just can't wrap my mind around. And then sure enough, when it happened, I was like, oh, fuck. But I went on air and I said, hey, I was incorrect about this. And then we actually ended up doing, because of it, I think maybe 6 months later, because we're all friends, you know, behind the scenes and stuff like that. And he said, hey, why don't you guys come back and we'll do a show? And I was like, great. Since you're so good at predictions and everything, let's do an end of the year prediction show for the upcoming year. So it was 2019 heading into 2020 and what's going to happen. And I was like, what's your biggest prediction of the year? And he's like, I think RBG is going to die right before the election. It's going to throw everything into turmoil. And sure enough, 3 weeks before the election, she died. And then that clip went viral and everything else. So who knows where he gets the information or if he's kind of throwing darts. But I look at him purely as an entertainer. And as an entertainer and as a guest on a podcast, he's one of the very best. Whatever he's like in real life, I have no idea. Dan has no idea. But I can tell you this, from a podcasting standpoint, or if you're just a listener for one of his shows, he is unique and unbelievably entertaining.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I've been a Alex Jones fan since like early 2000s. Like, stumbled across him and like the kind of post 9/11, like, you know, they're coming for us date. But yeah, no, well, you know what the funny thing is? It's like, at the end of the day, whether it's a podcast, whether it's new, it's all in the entertainment spectrum. It doesn't matter how much, like, how many commercials or what you're selling or, you know, how you're trying to classify. It's people are listening to be entertained. Right. So, you know, I could listen to, you know, the revisionist history, and it's like, all right, I find it entertaining. It can be boring, but it's also entertaining. And it's like his stuff. It's just fucking entertaining in the way he delivers it. And, you know, so his batting average is pretty fucking spot on.
Yeah, if he's throwing darts, he's fucking Ted Williams, my man.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit.
Like, and it is weird. And, dude, and it's weird, man. Like, and I know some people who are like, have been, you know, members of the Bohemian Grove, and they're like, yeah, he's, you know, it's not totally off what he's saying.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Totally.
It's like, how do you know this, and this? And he goes, well, I like to play a game. I like to imagine my enemies trying to do the most fucked up thing possible, and I assume that's true.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, if that's just his strategy and he's not actually getting any information, that just shows you how fucked we all are. Like, entirely fucked.
During the whole, like, Pizzagate thing, when it all was kicking off and everyone, you know, mainstream media was like, it's bullshit. That would never happen and this, that. And like, okay. Did Pizzagate happen the exact way that he was saying? Probably not, but was it kind of in the arena? Absolutely. And I was in London, and this was after the whole Jimmy Savile thing had like come to light, and everyone was like, oh my God, this guy was, you know, I don't know, you guys know about the Jimmy Savile situation, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, this guy was, you know, for people who don't know, he was probably one of the most famous radio DJ and TV personalities in British media history. Mm-hmm. This guy had a knighthood. He built hospitals. He was like a man of the people and beloved by all. But he was fucking creepy, and it turned out he was a crazy, horrible, horrible child molester. The BBC, it came out through an investigation, or people within the BBC were covering up a lot of his crimes.
Since the 1970s.
Yeah.
Yes.
For like 40 fucking years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and like huge, like people who were huge members of like British aristocracy and society were all in on this fucking ring. If you they took it down now, but at the BBC offices in London, when you walked to the front door, there was a fucking statue of an old man with a long white beard with his arms wrapped around a fucking naked child.
Oh my God.
That was on the front door of the BBC. I have a picture of it because when it was all happening, I'm like, why is no one pointing out there's a fucking child molester on the front door of the BBC?
Yeah. Well, here's what I can never seem to convince people of this for some reason. I don't know why, because it seems so obvious to me. But all the social turmoil that we ever have in any generation, not just ours, but any generation, isn't about one religious or ethnic or racial group versus another. It's always about the aristocracy protecting themselves from everybody else.
Right.
That's what it is. And they will protect the aristocracy, even if, like, you see these Republicans and Democrats or people in business who are opposed to each other or whatever it is, they'll protect the institution of aristocracy even if they have to cover up pedophilia for 40 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's always aristocracy first and then everything else is second after that. That's why there's like 3 people in Congress, Josh Hawley's one of them, that are actively asking for Congress and the Senate and government employees to be banned from trading stocks.
Right.
There's 3 out of fucking 600 of these motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. 3 of them are saying anything, and everybody else is like, "Oh, it's not a big deal."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's and like I like him, but like even what Dan Crenshaw said, I was a bit like, He's like, well, how else are we supposed to earn a living?
Yeah.
You're like, don't go into fucking politics. How about that?
Yeah, that guy's a real piece of shit.
Eye Patch McCain is really caught on, by the way. The audience keeps DMing it to me all the time.
Well, it's funny, but at least McCain was just a war hawk, though. He wasn't fleecing the country of money and then trying to moralize it in public. He also, to my knowledge, didn't get into verbal confrontations with like 10-year-old girls either.
Well, that's going to happen, dude. When you have an eye patch, there's a lot of things you can't see.
Well, I feel like, so when I came back from war, the first thing I did was be like, I'm not taking shit off anybody, especially 10-year-old girls. Show it to my campaign rally, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Jack, hang with us for a second. We got some sponsors to read here real quick, and then we're going to get into some madness. First and foremost, ironically, is ghostbed.com/drinking bros. Woo! Sleep so good, it's scary, Jack. If you could make a real ghost pop out of the bed, they'd make more money on it. I think that would be amazing. It's the next line of technology there at ghostbed.com/drinking bros. 30% off with the promo code drinking bros at checkout. Fill up the cart. Pillows, sheets, mattresses, adjustable bases, weighted blankets, whatever your heart desires. Fill up the cart as high as it will go. You get 30% off the promo code Drinkin' Bros, 40% off the bundle package if you put the adjustable base and the mattress together for one amazing night of fuckery. However you choose. If you're just staying inside with the lights off, waiting for the flashlight to blink a bunch of times like Jack was at the Civil War place, it's a great place to do it. Just hop in your bed, pull up the sheets, and look for it. Now, for the rest of you guys, 50% off if you want that 3D Matrix mattress that is delivered by Keanu Reeves himself right to your door. Strong guy, and he'll just go ahead and put that in your bedroom for you and potentially fuck your wife if he's into her. But that's on Keanu's terms, not yours. I want to make that clear because that's in fine print.
But he will teach her karate.
Correct.
Which is like, honestly, a longer term commitment. So he's really into it.
Yeah, and it's some say it's better than sex. So
sure, yeah.
I mean, knowing karate versus reverse cowboy.
I don't know if you can protect yourself with sex. You could try, I guess, but then you're kind of exposing your genitals to things.
You are. I saw a couple murder boners over the weekend that were sweet.
They were definitely touching tips.
Yeah, touching tips. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros today. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a 60-month pay-as-you-go program. Check that box. All those deals I mentioned are applicable with that. And you can walk out of there with a brand new bedroom set for around $25 a month. Next up, D'Anthony, we got a new one on here. BreatheFume.com/Drinkin' Bros. That is breathefum.com/Drinkin' Bros. You're going to use promo code Drinkin' Bros for 10% off your entire order at checkout there. This is helping you quit smoking. I've been seeing you gnawing on these things. My wife is gnawing on these things. Jack, you ever smoke?
Yes, and then I vape for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so Fume, you just pack these little lozenge things in there.
Well, it's like a little fabric stick, and you kind of tear it apart a little bit and shove it down into the wooden receptacle and breathe through it. So it's meant to deal with the hand to mouth, like
the oral fixation.
Habit. Yeah, the oral fixation, but also it's like natural flavoring inside of the thing, right? But no nicotine, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like the last step before giving up entirely. Yeah, giving up smoking. Yeah, it actually is very effective.
Yeah, I see you use it all the time, and it's a great thing. So if you're at home and you're trying to quit smoking, but you miss the old 2-finger, or just having a stick at a ball game or something. Whatever you enjoy. You can take it on a plane too, right?
It's just wood.
Yeah, it's just wood.
You can do whatever you want with it.
It's just wood. That's all it is. So whether you're a smoker, an ex-smoker who still struggles with cravings, Fume is the perfect tool for you. Head to breathefume.com/Drinkin' Bros. Use the promo code Drinkin' Bros to save 10% off your entire order. That is 10% off your entire order when you head to breathefum.com/Drinkin' Bros and use the promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout. Quit naturally with Fume and use Drinkin' Bros for 10% off there. That's at breathefume.com/Drinkin' Bros. Last but not least, Jack, this is our new company, hardafseltzer.com. We got to ship you some seltzers. Are you sober or are you off the booze?
I'm off the booze. It's going on 19 years now.
Holy shit. No way, dude. What I like about you don't preach to people's faces about it.
No. Listen, I'm a firm believer of attraction rather than promotion.
I like that a lot. I'm a firm believer of attraction rather than promotion. Every time we've hung out, you've never mentioned it, so I was like, all right, cool. There's some people who just won't shut the fuck up and get in your face. Well, I'm sober. Stop drinking around me. I'm sober.
It's kind of like being a vegan, you know? It's like... I have to tell you immediately.
Yeah, how are people going to know if I don't tell them?
Exactly. How are the animals going to know? With you guys, the original flavors are still in the store. Go to hardafseltzer.com. Peach, blue raspberry, lemon lime, strawberry shortcake, 8%, no carbs, no sugars, no gluten. If you give a shit about that. True story. We shipped to 41 states. True story. As of yesterday, we were in 69 stores in Tennessee.
So we're cutting it off.
69.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna stop there and just go. Every state, we're just gonna stop at 69. There is a store locator on there, and we're available everywhere. Because people keep hitting me up in Tennessee, and they're like, "Hey, dude, are you guys in Clarksville?" Yes, we're in Clarksville, Chattanooga, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville. You name it, all the locations you can possibly think of. Go to hardafseltzer.com, order it straight to your house. Or if you're in the state of Tennessee, just go to your local stores and get it. We're in a Total store there. That's amazing, too, out in Knoxville. Fully stocked. Jack, you ever been to the Vista Hospital in Los Angeles for one of your ghost hunting tours?
I have been there, but I've never done a ghost hunt there.
Wait, really?
Yeah, never. You know what it is? It's because they charge so much damn money because it's LA for one, and it's really expensive to go film there.
Yeah, actually, Gavin Newsom just is going. He's now going after production houses in California who go to quote unquote red states to film things.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, maybe like do what California did for the first 100 years of film, which is give people breaks for filming there, which is one of the things that made California a great place to work.
I know.
You stupid bitch.
I said that when Schwarzenegger was in. I'm like, why isn't he giving better rebates for production? I mean, the guy's he was who he was because of Hollywood.
Yeah, and that was
very little.
That was the time period when everybody fled to fucking Toronto to film everything.
Correct, yeah.
Like, nothing got filmed in California.
Now they're in Georgia, Shreveport, Wilmington's back up on the comeback again. A lot of those states. But the reason I bring up the Vista, the only place that I shot a movie at that I thought there was a supernatural presence was the Vista. And we sent in our scout team in there with wardrobe and all those guys. And we had a monitor, and the monitor cracked when we were filming down in the basement by like the morgue. And half of our crew left that day. I mean, they were freaked the fuck out. The walkies all tripped out too on set, and I just needed one more shot. Luckily, it was. Do you know the actor William Mapother? He's actually Tom Cruise's cousin.
No.
He played Ethan in Lost.
Okay.
Super creepy looking dude. Pull up a picture of him, Bob. This will help paint the picture for you.
Well, in real life, he's a normal looking guy, but he looks creepy enough where if he plays any character, they creep him fully out.
He was the lead in The Bedroom. That it was up for an Oscar for Best Picture.
Okay.
But yeah, if you pull him up on screen here, Bob, any photo will do. There you go. This guy right here, he was in the scene, and I needed him to finish it. And I was afraid of approaching him about it. And I was like, hey, dude, because he had seen whatever happened and everything else. And I thought he was going to be like, fuck no. And he just looks at me and he goes, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. Let's go down there. Man, this seems fun. This seems fun. And you have people like that. And now I'm sure you've worked with people like that. Who was one person who was just like, oh, is that shit's going down in there? Like, yeah, who else? Where can I go?
My co-host Katrina on Portals to Hell, she's got way bigger balls than I do. She will go through places like completely by herself with like she does the craziest stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm scared. Like everything in me is saying like, run away from this place. And she's like, all right, let's go. Let's get the shot. So like Katrina is gangster when it comes to that.
Well, so I've got this theory. When I lived in Oakland, when I first moved there, it looked one way, and by the time I left, it was mostly white hipsters who didn't understand the danger they were in.
Yeah.
So I think maybe there's something about white millennial females that they just don't understand the danger they're in sometimes.
She's like far more experienced with this stuff than I am. Like she went to school for this. Like, she was one of the original cast members of Paranormal State. So so she's like really experienced, and she just is like, and she always tells me, she's like, they can't really hurt you. And I'm like, yeah, true, but they can make me pee my pants.
That's true, but I stay diped up, so that's not a big deal.
Dan dipes up every day.
Yeah, every day. So somebody in the audience actually asked what advice you would have for people that want to get into a research field like this. That might be a better question for her, but do you have any insight on that?
I guess find a local paranormal club and maybe find one that is affiliated with any kind of scientific organization, because at Penn State they actually had a paranormal club that was the background of Paranormal State, is that it was associated with the university. Yeah. So and the reason being is that you get exposed to a lot more, just a lot more, I guess if you can say, experts in the field, but people who have spent a lifetime researching this stuff.
So, and by the way, to his points, they're in a lot of cities, and people would be surprised because they don't know they're there. There was one in Wilmington, North Carolina. Giorgio, were you there for that one guy on the first day who worked for us? Who he had a paranormal business, and they were in a club. That tall guy that was there in Wilmington, North Carolina. Were you there for that?
I was not. No.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to think.
We hired him, and he had a background in sound. And I was like, where did you get a background in sound for? And he's like, well, I've been recording this paranormal show with this club in Wilmington, North Carolina. And, I mean, super fucking weird guy. Like, I forget his name. But he used to go out on the weekends with this club, and they would go film, record sound, and then kind of analyze the sound afterwards. It was a whole thing. So to your point, if you look, I'm sure there's one in most cities, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Have you been out of New Orleans to that cemetery where the people are buried kind of alive, or they're sticking out, the hands are sticking out?
I haven't been there, but I did investigate the Laurie Mansion. we were like, we're the only televised show to ever go in there. And that's the one, American Horror Story based one of their seasons on it. It was that house where the woman was like, and the husband were like torturing all their slaves back in the day. And they found all these mutilated, like fucked up bodies in the attic. And that wasn't, I mean, that's what the theory was. It wasn't actually as gnarly as that in real life, but they were killing lots of people though.
Who was with you on that? Was Post Malone on one of your shows, or was that another one?
No, he went on Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins.
Gotcha.
Zach gets all the big names because, you know, they're kind of like, Zach's like the OG and he's got like the biggest fan base. So like he gets to do a lot of really cool investigations because of that.
He's the guy who buys all the weird shit, Dan. So like when somebody dies, I think he bought Manson's house, Charles Manson's house up on, was it Laurel Canyon or no, it was on Mulholland.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes around the country like buying up all these haunted artifacts and stuff, and he's got a museum. And
is that something you want to get into eventually? Is start buying some of this shit? Because some of it I think is cool. Some of it would creep me the fuck out.
You know what I like about what I do is like it's a hobby of mine. It's not my only hobby. It's not like I do so many things between like producing other shows and, you know, like I said, I've got my ranch, you know, and you know I spend a lot of time up there, and I shoot a lot of gun competitions, and like I have like a really kind of full life between like kids and hobbies. And so being in the paranormal space is like one pillar, but it's not my only pillar. And you know, would it be cool to have a haunted museum? Sure, but like Zach's already doing it. I wouldn't want to try and be like, oh, I'm going to do one too. Like I feel like there's only enough room at the table for so many of those kind of attractions, and I'm just not really into it in that capacity. But it is kind of funny to like sit back and be like, wait, I'm getting paid to like travel around the country and go to scary places and like try and get stuff on footage. I kind of have to pinch myself sometimes.
Yeah, you've had an amazing life. I mean, shit, the last time we were all together in person was at Welcome
Ozfest.
Yeah.
Was it Ozfest or was it
Welcome to Rockville, I think, in Jacksonville.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, Rockville, yeah.
Yeah, and your dad came out and I mean absolutely destroyed it that night. Is he back out on tour, going out on tour anytime soon?
He is he's still recovering. He took that bad fall and he's got, his Parkinson's, and so he's kind of getting there. He just had another crazy spine surgery. So fingers crossed, he's going to be able to some point, in the near future. He's got a new album coming out next month, which is it's a really, really good album. Like, where you're like, wow, you're 73 and you're still making really good music. And I'm not just saying that because he's my dad and he'd probably kill me if I ever said anything. But if you go read the reviews on the album, they will agree with me.
Yeah.
Well, the song you did with Post Malone was pretty fucking good, man. I mean,
goddamn, dude. Yeah, that album crushed too. It absolutely crushed. How's your mom doing, by the way? She's great on television. Is she going back?
So the bullshit that happened to her on the talk, she got put in the icebox of cancellation, and so she's working in England. She's got a show she does there. And she's just I just finished producing a documentary about her life and about kind of what happened on the talk. So that's going to be airing on Fox Nation in October. And it's pretty fucking powerful. Like, it's one of those things where everyone always thinks like, oh, Ozzy Osbourne's had this crazy life. When we mapped out my mom's life, it is so much fucking gnarlier than my dad's and the shit that she had to go through. I think people are going to be really amazed by this doc.
When is that coming out? Do you know?
I want to say it's early October.
Okay.
I think is when we're slated, but it's it's really, really interesting. And we map out exactly what happened on the talk and how they essentially just did a fucking live career assassination of my mom, and it's pretty crazy.
It's bizarre because she's like the nicest person of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like somebody trying to cancel Mary Poppins or some shit, dude. Like,
that's what it felt like.
What the fuck is wrong? Like, when I first saw that stuff, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I thought it was a joke.
Well, and the thing is, it's like she said that all it was she turned around and said Piers Morgan has a right to his opinion about Meghan Markle. And then everyone was like, yeah, but he's a racist. And she's like, well, what has he said that's racist? They couldn't say it. And then they started saying, well, you're a racist for supporting him. And my mom turned around and was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, so then, she gets, fired from her job and all that bullshit. It's just insanity. I mean, if there's ever like a glimpse of like, if aliens were to like see that clip, they'd be like, no, we're not hanging out in this place. It's too just bonkers.
Keep on driving.
Yeah.
It's like you're driving. Yeah, you're pulling to the strip club parking lot and you see a girl with a fucking C-section scar standing outside smoking. You're like, now we're going to go to the next one.
Yeah, going to hop in the old truck and go down to the next strip club because with you guys, like, having met all of you in real life, like you're probably one of the nicest, most genuine families that we've met. And all of you guys get along. At that point, you guys were all traveling together on tour with Ozzy and like, it is exactly what you saw on television all those years, but in real life. And you guys are all so supportive of each other, and you couldn't be kinder or nicer people. And to see her go through that, which is fucking bullshit in my opinion. And because of the long career that, you guys have had and your parents have had and everything else, some people will just remember this one fucking thing and be like, she's a goddamn racist. Do you guys cover that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, we do a deep dive into it. And that's it's the modern day scarlet letter. You get labeled a racist, it's like there's no coming back from it, because it's like, well, prove that you're not a racist. It's like, well, what do you have to do? My parents donated over $700,000 to BLM during, when it was the thing to do. And, that got zero media attention, to the point where when it was all kicking off, my mom would do interviews and being like, okay, I'm not just saying this, like, we did this. If I was why would I do that if I was a, perceived racist? The news wouldn't print it because they said, well, that doesn't fit the narrative right now.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's bonkers, the whole thing.
Well, that same thing's going on with the owner of the Miami Dolphins right now, actually. So Brian Flores is suing him.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Because he said he asked him to tank on purpose, and that somehow that's racist. Well, I've got some news for you, bud. Teams have been doing that forever.
Yeah.
Right. But also, apparently the guy was both a Trump voter, the owner of the Dolphins, and donated like millions of dollars to diversity-based organizations. But still, he's a racist.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what you do. It's just like the prevailing narrative is this, so that's the way it is, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah, and as soon as somebody says it, it sticks, and then it's just like, oh, all right, great. How do you defend yourself?
And the toughest thing was, during that whole process, I couldn't come out and be like, this is bullshit, fuck you all. That's what I wanted to say. But then I'd lose a job. Then, and then it's like, oh, no, we're firing you from, your network job because of you support. It's like, it's completely, it just doesn't, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
No, Chris Williamson calls it the 360-degree firing squad. It's just a bunch of idiots. Like, there's social value now in being one of the people who calls out somebody that does something wrong, apparently.
Totally.
Like you win something for that. I don't know what it is. You win. I've been checking my bank account. It's not there. So, anyways, so you've got this thing coming out on Fox and Fox Nation in October. What else you got going on? So the Skinwalker thing was like the second installation of Night of Terror, right? So there's been multiple versions of this?
Yeah, it's like the second round of them. We did so this is like the third in the specials that we did. And then I'm probably going back out to film more Portals to Hell in the fall. And then after that, I'll do some more Night of Terror episodes and just, keep them busy. And we're starting we're starting our own media. It's like the first I've spoken about it. So here you guys go. We're starting our own online media network. So we're all going to have our own podcasts, and we own all the original Osbourne episodes, and we own a ton of content.
No way.
My parents are just a massive. Oh yeah, we own the entire thing, and so we're going to put all the content that we own, on our own platform, and just trying to not have to work for networks anymore. Have to rely on networks.
Sure.
Because there's one thing I learned from my mom is it's easy come, easy go with working for corporations in this day and age.
Yeah, it sure is. And, you know, we're in a creator economy. Dan and I talk about it all the time. And the thing with you guys and your family in particular is it seems like there's endless content. Kelly's pregnant, right?
Yeah, Kelly's having a baby in, I think, sometime in November.
Yeah. You guys are more exciting than the Kardashians. You're chasing ghosts. Your dad might get back on stage. Your mom's canceled. Your sister's having a baby. You kept a placenta on yours.
Yeah, you just need to start banging Pete Davidson. He's single now, I'm told. Right? So
then you're good.
Yeah.
I have some news, by the way, on his situation.
On Pete?
Skeet Davidson?
No, on Jack.
Oh shit.
Oh, good.
Are you near Mono, California?
I think I might be.
Yeah. Well, there was a 1.7 magnitude earthquake.
Oh, Jack,
wow.
you called it a 4. You called it a 4, Jack.
It felt okay. I must have been close to it. Let me see where I am. Hold on.
Check your geolocation. You called it a 4.
No, I just pulled into a. Let's see. Where is Mono? I'm between Santa Rosa and Sacramento. Is that where?
This is it's south of Sacramento, but you probably felt that quake.
Yeah. I'm technically. I'm like, yes. I'm close to.
So sometimes when we're talking about dodgy stuff on the show, we'll notice that there's a little bit of lag and stuff. I wonder if this is God coming after you.
Could be.
Like, dude, you better knock it off, Jack. Knock it off.
Quit poking the bear, you fuck.
You piece of shit.
Oh, you lied, you son of a bitch. We're gonna clip that, dude. What do
you mean he lied? You don't know. What is he?
He said a 4. It was a 1.7.
You think he's got
a look of fear in his eyes?
Do you think he has like an internal Geiger counter?
Earthquake.
Jesus Christ! I slept through.
Guys, I saw my light flash before my eyes.
Remember that one in Napa back in like 2014 or whatever it was that wrecked all those wineries? It was like a 6.8 or whatever. I slept through that shit.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't feel fucking. Well, I'm sure I felt something, but nothing.
Was that the one where all the bottles broke and all that shit?
They lost like $3 billion worth of wine or some shit like that, which is sad. I don't care about people dying.
Was it Gavin Newsom's winery that got robbed?
Oh yeah, just his. Yeah, it was just his.
Does he have a fucking winery?
Fuck yeah, he does. And during the fucking lockdown, guess what wasn't mandatorily shut down? His fucking winery. Yeah.
I think we should just elect him president now.
Oh my god!
Like we're going to hell so fast, we may as well get there.
That might be the best punishment for him.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
President of the United States, that guy. Jesus Christ!
I just think we need to, if your house is almost burned down,
the vice president.
Who's the vice president?
Pelosi. Let's just make her vice president and president. We just hit fucking fast forward on the end of days soundtrack.
Well, that reminds me, I had an idea for one of the installations of Night of Terror. So it's you and AOC in a room, and then there's a guy in the corner of the room telling jokes about poor people the whole time for 3 days. You just got to deal with it,
dude.
Yeah. So good luck.
Did you see that video of that guy trolling AOC as she's walking?
Yeah, that's our buddy.
Oh my god, dude!
He was just on the show last night, actually.
Dude, I was dying. I was literally on the floor in my living room laughing.
He's funny. We just we
Primetime Stein 99.
Yeah,
dude.
we recorded with him on Thursday. Went out.
It's out today.
It's really
Out of Control episode. He does it everywhere. The latest one, he went to CPAC over the weekend,
and he was taking shit to a Vice reporter. Which is, like, a Vice reporters are like they think they're the new Gonzo journalist. They just show up and do drugs somewhere. I'm like, oh, here's why drugs are good. Hunter Thompson never said drugs are good. He just did the drugs and then wrote about the experience. He didn't fucking moralize one way or the other. Although he did say never turn your back on a drug, which is a good point.
Words to live by. Sure.
Vice is full of shit.
I guess I failed Hunter S. Thompson's lesson of life.
I'm pretty sure we all failed for that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you had a good run until it ended, right?
I did. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Do you miss it at all? That's what I always wonder.
I'll tell you, the only time I miss it is when I'm on a camping trip or a hunting trip or anything where it's like you've had a hard fucking day out in nature. I used to do a lot of rock climbing, so like surfing, and when everyone sat around a campfire and they're like drinking a whiskey, like that's when I would miss it. But other than that, I don't. I'm just like whatever. At this point, dude, I'm 36 and I've been sober 19 years. It's like it's most of my life has been without it, and I just don't see a point. what the damage it did for me. And even if it was just a phase, you know, where a lot of people are like, oh, you got sober at 17, it was probably just a phase. Sure, maybe it was, but I'm not really willing to roll the dice because I feel pretty fucking lucky, man. I've got like amazing kids. I've got an amazing life. I got a fucking great job, and I just don't really want to risk it.
And you got 15 years to catch up with Elon. So he's 15 years older than you.
Yep.
Which means 15, you need 6 more kids in 15 years. But he's going to keep adding too. I'm just saying, to keep up with his rate, by 51, you need to have 10 kids or 9 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, my fiance would probably be like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
You think she'd be down to have 6 more kids shoot out of there?
Oh, she literally, we had, like, we were in the hospital holding our hours-old baby, and she's like, so with the next one, I'm like, okay,
slow down. Slow down.
Let's just slow down. Like,
although I haven't,
buckaroo.
Ever since I met her, I have kind of been suspicious that she just wanted the kids, and you were kind of just, you happened to be there. You know what I mean? Because you do have great kids, and she really did enjoy hanging out with your children. So it's like, hey, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, why not? You know,
it's true.
Now's the point in the show we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the week, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the week to?
Let me see. Who has inspired me? Man, that's really, do they have to be a known person?
I mean, you can say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad if you want. Yeah, it can be anyone. You could be anything.
Space Ghost, coast to coast.
Let me think. Who's really inspired me? It's I don't know. I guess it's in varying stages. You know, there's I kind of have like a pool, so I'm trying to think. Who do I narrow it down to? You know, if I'm not to be corny, but I would probably say my mom.
There you go.
Like, she's been I'm a total mama's boy, and you know, I speak to her like 3 times a day on the phone. She's like my go-to for everything. So I would probably have to say my mom. Man,
that's nice. I forgot to call my mom yesterday, and now you just remind me of that. So
every day, man.
Yeah.
We're lucky, you know. We don't get them forever.
We are, for sure. For sure. We'll leave here with a couple questions from the audience. Somebody asked what your favorite scary movie is of all time.
Favorite scary movie is probably Poltergeist.
Oh, shit. That was a good one, dude.
Yeah. You know fucking Steven Spielberg wrote Poltergeist?
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn, that's crazy. I remember seeing that for the first time, and I wasn't supposed to see it. Like, a babysitter had left it on when my parents were gone, and that scared the shit out of me when she touches the TV and the whole place goes nuts. And then all the cast started dying from that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. There's crazy amount of death associated with that film.
Okay. Next question here. If you could have dinner with anybody that's dead, who would be the top 4 people you would have dinner with that are dead?
Okay, I definitely would. It would be Thomas Jefferson, because I think it'd be really interesting to look at his face if I told him like what the state of the Republic was. Let's see, Thomas Jefferson, Freddie Mercury. Who else? You know, maybe just for the sake of it, and I think, Dan, you'd appreciate this, Jesus, just to be like, all right, dude, are you really the fucking son of God, or are you just really good at fooling?
You just keep like pushing a glass of water over to him over and over. Come on, bro.
Then maybe, God, I don't know. I'm trying to think who'd be the 4th one. Probably just because he's one of my favorites, and I never got to see him play, but Jeff Buckley, I think, he was an amazing musician, and gone before our time. Underrated,
yeah. Jeff Buckley. Why Freddie Mercury? Just out of curiosity, does your dad know him at all?
My mom actually was very good friends with him. Because my mom was, very involved in the music scene in London all through the 60s and 70s. I just love Queen, and I bet you that dude was fucking hilarious. I mean, talk about like debauchery to level 10, and I also think it'd be funny to be sat with Jesus and Freddie Mercury. Can you imagine? Like, it would just be like, interesting.
Yeah, that'd be a fun story. Odd one for you. Last night, I don't sleep very well. I couldn't sleep, and I flipped it on the TV, and it was Bohemian Rhapsody, which was Freddie Mercury. Did you like that movie? Did you like him as Freddie Mercury?
I thought he was good. I thought he was good as Freddie Mercury. I thought the film, it was a very entertaining film. It was very well, like, it was almost like an AI figured, like, how do we make the best rock movie? And it was almost like surgical how they did it. But I thought it was too fluff. There was too much fluff. Freddie Mercury was debaucherous. He was like, I mean, the stories of how like that dude turned it up to fucking 11, like, and that movie, he was just kind of this struggling with his sexuality and his art, and it was like too fluffy. And I just thought, I mean, that movie should have been rated R.
Well, the original was Sacha Baron Cohen,
and it was a hard R.
Yeah, it was. So
you know why it got shit canned, right? The band said it didn't involve them enough.
Yes,
and that it was we were Queen the band. It's not just the Freddie Mercury show.
Aside from maybe Jack here, name one other member of the band Queen.
God, I'm gonna go. Was it Brian May? Is that correct?
Yeah,
it is. Okay, so he's the only one I know. Full disclosure, I don't know the drummer, the bass. I don't know any of those guys. I can't tell you their name at all.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, on that note, we're actually midway through writing my dad's film, so that should Sony picked that up.
Who's playing him?
Oh shit, who's playing him?
Yeah, we don't know yet. We kind of we're taking one step at a time. You know, we're working on script notes right now and just getting it honed in. But it's it definitely will be that movie will fall into the R category for sure.
That guy who played him in The Dirt was. I mean, but he was just playing a caricature of your dad. Like, if you're really going to get into who he is as a person, that dude probably can do it.
The one thing I will say about him, he had my dad's body language down. The accent sucked, and he didn't really look much like my dad, but his body language was fucking spot on.
Yeah, like it was just a caricature. That's all it was. But that's all the guys in that were just a caricature.
Who do you got, Bob? Who do you got playing?
I'm going to go with the dude from Stranger Things, Joseph Quinn.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
Shit.
Did you just speak it into existence?
As of late, that's come up?
Well, yeah, because we're always sat around being like, hey, what is this guy? What do you think of him? What do you think of that? I mean, there's been all sorts of talk. I mean, we had one was the fucking, what's his name? What's his fucking name? The One Direction guy. He's fucking...
Oh, Harry Styles.
Too pretty.
Harry Styles. And I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, actually, no.
No, he just signed a 5-picture deal with Marvel too, so he'll be off the grid for a while. That guy from Stranger Things is a great call, Bob. That guy would be fucking rad.
Yeah, but he's like, isn't he from like kind of like posh London, and your dad's from Warwickshire or some shit like that? Is he gonna? It's a kind of a specific accent.
It is, but if you're a good enough actor, you can do any regional, English accent.
Yeah, that's true. I like that call a lot, Bob. That was super left field. I wonder what age are you starting at, though? Because that would help narrow it down.
It starts with the bulk of it, and it ends with him. It starts with him kind of leaving Sabbath.
Okay.
That's currently, but dude, there's going to be as you know, I mean, there's going to be 9,000 fucking rewrites.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time that actually, gets shot, that kid could be fucking 50 years old at that point. So who knows? We've
already been developing it for 3 years, and we just, and it's like these things are slow, man. It's especially, I mean, the great thing is the studio is awesome. I got to say, like, the working relationship currently with Sony Pictures is amazing, and our exec is wonderful and really collaborative, and it's been a really awesome experience so far.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the most talented dudes ever and has had one of the most storied careers and lives of all time. You really only get one shot at making this right.
You get one shot at making it right. And rock picks in particular do very, very well in the box office. So, like, if you look at Elvis is crushed around the world. Bohemian Rhapsody, goddamn, that made $1 billion with a B.
Yeah.
So you're in good company, and at least that'll stay on the forefront versus like, oh, see you later comedies. If you were shooting a comedy these days, it's gone. You'd be gone.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's funny. I'm from St. Louis, and the mugshot of your dad in the St. Louis Blues thing gets posted on my fucking feed all the time. Whenever blues season starts up, every year, every one of my friends posts that mugshot.
When they were in the playoffs recently, and a friend of mine's a big fan, and like he's got like season tickets and knows people on the team, and we actually put my dad in like a current jersey and like took a picture and sent it to them.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
That's awesome. Well, Jack, thank you for joining us today. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Jack Osbourne. Basically, I only ever work for Discovery, so go to Discovery Plus and you'll see like all the paranormal shit I do. It's a lot of fun. And they're only getting bigger. HBO just got folded into them, so that's a great place to be, my man. Congratulations. And then also, dude, just thanks for being an amazing human all these years. You've never changed. You've just been a fucking awesome guy, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you being here today. Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm sorry I was a little late. No worries.
Get back on the road, buddy. Get back on the road. Stay safe from the hurricanes or earthquakes or whatever you're doing. Right. I'm going to get struck by lightning when I jump out of here. For Jack Osbourne, D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night.